Welcome, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus, where the tapestry of time is woven with the threads of human experience. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey through the annals of ancient history as we delve into the intricacies of the First Punic War. This epic conflict, which pitted the mighty Roman Republic against the formidable Carthaginian Empire, would forever alter the trajectory of Western civilization. In the early 3rd century BCE, the Mediterranean world was a complex web of alliances and rivalries, with powerful city-states and empires vying for dominance. The Romans, having recently unified the Italian peninsula under their rule, were increasingly expanding their horizons, driven by an insatiable hunger for conquest and a desire to secure their position as a major power. Meanwhile, across the Mediterranean, the Carthaginians had established themselves as a formidable maritime empire with a vast network of trade routes and colonies stretching from Spain to North Africa. Theirs was a culture of skilled sailors, cunning merchants, and brilliant strategists who had built a reputation for ruthlessness and determination. One of the key figures in this drama was the Carthaginian general, Hanno the Great, a man of unyielding ambition and unwavering dedication to his city-state. Hanno's vision for Carthage was one of unbridled expansion, with the goal of establishing his people as the preeminent power in the Mediterranean. To achieve this aim, he embarked on a series of bold military campaigns, seeking to secure strategic territories and resources that would fuel Carthage's rise to dominance. As the Romans and Carthaginians began to encroach upon each other's spheres of influence, tensions between the two powers grew. The spark that would eventually ignite the flames of war was the city of Messina, a strategically located port on the island of Sicily. This fertile and populous region had long been a prized possession of the Greeks, but as Carthaginian power expanded, they began to exert their influence over the island, much to the dismay of the Romans. In 264 BCE, a group of Italian mercenaries, known as the Mamertines, seized control of Messina, prompting the Carthaginians to dispatch a fleet to the city in an effort to restore order and assert their authority. The Romans, perceiving this move as a direct challenge to their own interests, responded by sending a delegation to Sicily, led by the consul Appius Claudius Caudex. As the Roman delegation, led by Appius Claudius Caudex, arrived in Sicily, they were met with a complex web of alliances and rivalries that would ultimately draw them into a prolonged and bloody conflict. The Mamertines, still in control of Messina, appealed to both the Romans and Carthaginians for support, hoping to exploit the situation to their advantage. In 264 BCE, the Romans, eager to counter Carthaginian influence, formed an alliance with the Mamertines, which would prove to be a fateful decision. The Carthaginians, under the command of Hanno the Great, responded by besieging Messina, hoping to crush the rebellion and assert their dominance over the island. The Romans, now committed to defending their new allies, sent a large fleet to Sicily, which engaged the Carthaginian navy in a series of fierce battles. One of the most significant naval encounters took place off the coast of Mylae, where the Roman fleet, under the command of consul Caudex, clashed with the Carthaginians in 260 BCE. The Romans, employing their innovative tactic of boarding enemy ships using the corvus, a movable bridge that allowed them to transfer troops onto enemy vessels, gained a decisive victory at Mylae. This clever device, which would become a hallmark of Roman naval warfare, enabled them to neutralize the Carthaginian advantage in ship-to-ship combat and secure a crucial foothold in Sicily. As the war raged on, both sides suffered heavy losses, but the Romans continued to gain ground, driven by their determination to expand their territory and protect their allies. In 257 BCE, the Roman consul, Atilius Regulus, launched a daring invasion of North Africa, hoping to strike at the heart of Carthage itself. The campaign, though ultimately unsuccessful, demonstrated the Roman willingness to take bold risks and push the boundaries of their military power. The First Punic War was also marked by a series of epic land battles, including the Battle of Attis in 255 BCE, where the Romans clashed with a large Carthaginian army led by the skilled general Hasdrubal. Though outnumbered, the Romans fought valiantly, employing their signature tactics of discipline and organization to hold off the Carthaginian horde. As the conflict dragged on, Both sides began to feel the strain of prolonged warfare, with trade disruptions, economic hardship, and widespread suffering affecting civilians and soldiers alike. Yet, despite these challenges, the Romans remained resolute in their pursuit of victory, driven by a fierce determination to emerge triumphant from the crucible of war. In 250 BCE, the Carthaginians, seeking to regain the initiative, launched a massive counterattack against the Roman-held city of Lilybaeum on the western coast of Sicily. The siege, which would last for years, became one of the most infamous episodes of the war, with both sides engaging in brutal tactics and suffering heavy casualties. The Roman commander, Lucius Junius Pullus, who had earlier distinguished himself at the Battle of Ottis, played a crucial role in defending Lilybaeum against the relentless Carthaginian onslaught. As the siege of Lilybaeum dragged on, the Carthaginians began to feel the weight of their prolonged effort, with resources dwindling and morale sagging. The Romans, meanwhile, continued to hold firm, buoyed by their determination to emerge victorious from the war. In 241 BCE, a Roman fleet, led by the consul Gaius Lutatius Catulus, engaged the Carthaginian navy off the coast of the Aeolian Islands in what would prove to be a decisive battle. The Romans, employing their now refined tactics, including the use of the corvus, gained a crushing victory, sinking or capturing over 120 Carthaginian ships. The consequences of this naval defeat were severe for the Carthaginians, who were forced to abandon their siege of Lilybaeum and sue for peace. The subsequent Treaty of Lilybaeum, signed in 241 BCE, brought an end to the First Punic War, with the Carthaginians agreeing to evacuate Sicily and Corsica and to pay a substantial indemnity to the Romans. This treaty marked a significant turning point in the history of the Mediterranean, as Rome emerged as a dominant naval power, while Carthage was forced to confront the limitations of its own military ambitions. The legacy of the First Punic War can be seen in the profound impact it had on the development of Roman foreign policy and military strategy. The war marked the beginning of a period of aggressive expansion for the Romans, who would go on to conquer much of Italy, Corsica, Sardinia, and eventually the entire Mediterranean world. As the Roman statesman and historian Polybius once observed, the Romans, having conquered the Carthaginians, became masters of the sea and consequently of the whole world. Today, the First Punic War is remembered as a pivotal moment in the history of the ancient world, a conflict that set in motion the chain of events that would lead to the rise of Rome as a global superpower. The war's impact can still be felt, from the modern-day borders of Italy and Tunisia to the strategic importance of the Mediterranean Sea. The First Punic War may have ended over 2 millennia ago, but its influence continues to resonate through the ages, a testament to the enduring power of human ingenuity, determination, and ambition. As we look out upon the modern world, we would do well to remember the lessons of this ancient conflict and to recognize that the struggles of the past continue to shape the present in ways both seen and unseen. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that, to understand the present, we must first understand the past.